I'm very lucky, I know that, but I'm only lucky because I put myself out there and I wasn't
Yeah.
scared to be me. Like, I'm gonna be rejected either later on down the road if they don't know about this. Would you rather have it right away when it's like, it doesn't hurt? You know, it
Yeah.
might hurt in the moment, but the more times it happens, it's like, okay, you kind of come numb to it to a degree, but you also understand it's like, I want this for me, so you gotta want this for me as well.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Soul Kink Therapy. My name is Emily Letts. I'm a therapeutic dominatrix based in Boulder, Colorado, and today we are speaking with Georgia. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted Georgia on this podcast is because she, in my mind, is a pretty unique being because she is completely out and open and in public about her cross-dressing. It's a pretty rare thing, what I have found, and it's also really rare to be able to have Georgia's full video on the podcast. So for those of you who are just listening to the audio version, I highly recommend going over to YouTube so you can see Georgia's gorgeous face. I mean, truly stunning. So, welcome. What an honor. Welcome, Georgia, to Soul King Therapy.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So, my first question to you is what does it feel like to be completely out in the open around your cross dressing?
Beyond freeing, personally, I don't have to go through any day pretending to be anybody other than myself. Um, it is beyond anything I could have ever imagined when I first started down this journey. But at this point, looking back, I can't believe it took as long as it did.
Fascinating. Cuz so for those who don't, I mean, people won't know this, but you were just in your own house and then your Wi-Fi wasn't great. So now you're in your parents' house. So
Yeah,
you're literally filming this in your parents' house.
correct.
So your parent how does your parents feel about all this?
They are accepting to, I would say, to a degree, in all honesty. At
Mhm.
first, uh, my mom, of course, very understanding. My dad, maybe not so much at first.
Yeah.
Once they kind of realized that I wasn't hurting anybody, I wasn't aiming to hurt myself at any point,
Yeah.
they more or less came around to it. And I mean, it took a little bit of time, as anything that might be completely shocking to the system. You know, I didn't let
Yeah.
on any real inklings that this was something that I'd even be interested in. So, once they were, come around to it, it made it a lot easier. I've gone out definitely on Halloween and things like that around them, and we've gone out on other occasions with friends and things like that, and they seem to be happy with it, or at least fine with it.
So the idea that you just, like, pop over to your parents' house to film a podcast, like, dressed to the nines, it ho do you think that they would just be completely fine with it?
Yeah, I actually I texted my mom as I started setting up everything to be like, "Hey, I'm borrowing your Wi-Fi, mine's not quick enough." So
Do you have to give them a heads up that you'll be dressed, or is it just, like,
no,
complete, "Oh, like, there she's Georgia today."
no, they don't care either way.
Oh, that makes me almost emotional. That is so beautiful. Give us your story a little bit. So, how did you get to this place? And one of the reasons I say this place is because and for so many people, this would be the dream. Like being able to wake up, especially because most of the time you live
Yes.
in a masculine garb. Yeah. So like, the idea of being able to wake up and be like, how do I wanna present today?" When the majority of your life is in the masculine and having so much flexibility in that way, I feel like is a dream to many people.
Yeah, so, I mean, it all started right around when I was 14. I had bought a race car. The only thing I ever wanted to be as a kid was a race car driver, and
Okay.
so in buying a race car, it came with a
A
lot.
full rate like a full, like, vroom vroom,
Yeah,
like,
like,
F1 Brad Pitt race car kind of thing?
not quite F1, more so like a dirt track. It's very it's almost hillbilly-esque, right? Like
You're speaking a completely different language, so you're gonna have
yeah.
to fill me in.
You play in the dirt for the most part in my kind of racing, right? So it's,
Okay.
but that's all I ever wanted to be. So when I was 14, I'd been saving up by mowing lawns to pay for this thing, and because of it, it comes with a lot of stress, and I didn't really have anybody outside of my parents maybe to talk to. I have a little brother, but, you just don't have any friends that you can kinda confide in,
Yeah.
and it was around then that I really started to pay attention to the feminine aspect of life, and you start paying attention to the clothes that girls are wearing, and it's like, "Well, what would I look like in that?" And then in pursuing that, I kinda developed an entirely different persona because of it to escape myself, escape my stress, things like that.
So you were stressed out because you bought the race car?
No, because I'm a competitive asshole.
No, great. Thank you for letting us know.
Yes.
God, oh, so you were, like, racing and you're like, "I have to win. I'm not winning.
Yeah,
This
so
is stressful."
especially at first, like, I wasn't any good. It's not like I come from a line of other people that did that. It was solely me. My dad was a mechanic. It was one of those things I just wanted to do, and then because of it and my competitiveness, it just drove me to find something where I could settle down in, and, being from North Dakota, there's a lot of
Right? You live in North
I
Dakota.
do.
I hear that's a very liberal place, like, lots of openly trans cross-dressers just walking around everywhere.
Especially in the oil field area where I'm from.
I don't know what that means, but that sounds even more gay pride.
Oh, absolutely. Um,
Okay.
so I would say because of it, it just kinda you have to kinda find a way where you're not gonna find your way into drugs, I guess, 'cause, I mean, you grow
Oh,
up around drinking and things like that, and that was everybody's outlet. I knew
wow.
personally to do the racing and whatnot, I couldn't afford, 1, to get in trouble. 2, I didn't wanna get in trouble because it's like I didn't wanna lose this thing that I'd worked pretty much, my entire, conscious life for, You don't really remember being 6 years old and wanting to do anything, but,
Yeah.
um, yeah, so I just wanted to find a healthy outlet, and
Wow.
at first, of course, you have absolute shame through this. I mean, I think every crossdresser at this point probably has felt that, and I would escape myself, and by the time I was all said and done, you'd start to feel the shame of it. Like, I'm different. Why am I different? Why do I feel this way?
Yeah.
Why do I enjoy this? What is it
Yeah.
about it? Um, it's weird to really look back that far and have to try to figure out where those thoughts came from, but I knew in the back of my mind, it's like I can't afford to get in trouble. I can't afford to lose this thing that I've worked so hard for.
And by you mean get in trouble for the cross-dressing or get in trouble around race carting?
Like the race car side, like
Yeah.
I never worried about this side about getting in trouble. It was more so,
Because it was him.
yeah, like getting in trouble outside the house where like if, everybody I grew up around for the most part got into drinking very early, where
Right.
I didn't. I didn't have time. I was constantly working or trying to maintain grades or something along those lines.
Mhm. So you're like a high achiever. You're, like, competitive, you're like, "I'm gonna win."
Yeah.
I'm like, "I'm gonna be number 1, valedictorian."
It
Ding.
drives you what people don't know is it in order to be that way, it does drive you crazy. It
Yeah, I
does.
can only imagine. I do not have that affliction, sometimes I wish I did, but I'm like, "Wow, ambitious people, what are y that must be hard."
See, it's funny because my wife, she isn't the competitive type either. She won't admit to it. She's competitive in little things, but it's mostly just with me. So when she
Yeah,
sees me be competitive outside the house and, like, little things, she's like, "I don't know why you're like this." It's like, "I don't know
yeah.
either. It just always has been."
Wow, fascinating. So you were like, "I love race carring,
Mhm.
racing,
Yep.
carring, race carring. I love race carring, and, I can't get in trouble because I don't wanna lose this thing." So, how did the cross-dressing sort of blossom in there?
Um, it just kinda you try on some clothes, of course, that aren't yours.
Yeah. So
Um,
first you become a thief.
and then it just you feel good in it. It feels right. It feels fun. It feels to a
Do
degree,
you remember the
it feels bad, and it's kinda that
Yeah.
release of letting some you in your back of your mind, it's bad, but you like, in reality, it's not. It's not hurting anybody.
It sounds like it's almost like that badness almost it sounded like it was like a release of a pressure valve.
Mhm. Yeah, it was
Is that what it
something.
felt like?
Yeah, because I feel like it's the same thing that and it's funny because I compare driving a race car to having a drug problem. They cost about the same.
Jeez. You're really selling it.
Right, right. I personally, if you're not dying to do it, then it's definitely not for everybody. But
Yeah.
when it comes to the cross-dressing aspect, it's kind of the same deal too. You find one addiction and you put it into something else.
Huh. How does that break that down for me in terms of cross-dressing?
Oh, so like
How does it become an addiction?
you start this and you never stop, really.
Yeah. 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 Well, I can tell you've spent, like, years perfecting it because your makeup is on point. So, like, when you do you remember the first time?
Not necessarily. There are a few times that probably stick out the most, and they're mostly times when, I would do it late at night when everybody would go to bed.
Of course.
And
Of course.
the few times that you almost get caught are the times you
Yeah.
really remember.
And when in the very beginning, was it purely was there a sexual component in it all, or was it just, like, the release and, like, the identity
At first
experience?
at first, there was no sexual aspect to it. It was just the
Got it.
release of doing something that is quote unquote inherently bad and looked
Yeah.
down upon.
And not only that, completely lives outside of the script and schema of everything you were taught
Yeah,
you had to be.
yeah.
Because I'm curious, in your feminine version, are you also competitive?
I have been. So
Mm,
that I mean, there's the fun part about all this is like, so this started when I was 14. That was almost over 20 years ago, So it's like you got 20 years of stories at this point built up.
yeah.
Um, but yes, like in time when you slowly stop to have like I kind of stopped racing about 4 years ago, and then about 10 years ago, all the time. I used to race every weekend. It took up
Yeah.
the majority of my time, and I slowly got away from that. Um, and then because of getting away from it, I didn't have a competitive outlet, and I
Huh.
started
Huh.
using this as my competitive outlet, and I started comparing myself, and you start the
Oh.
hardest part was once I got into the relationship with my wife and thinking you can continue doing the same thing over and over and over again, trying to one up the next person. It's like it kind of takes away from the life that you're living actually.
Huh.
When you're single, it's a lot easier because you don't have anybody to worry about but yourself. So that
Mm.
competitiveness kind of took over in that aspect. And then once I got into this relationship and got married, it was more so like, hey, you can't do it like that anymore. You have
Can you tell me how does it express itself competitively in cross-dressing? Like, what does that look like? Did you actually compete?
No, it was more so along the lines of, like, being online and seeing other people do certain things, and you're like, "Well, how come they get to do it? Why can't I do it? I should be doing that. Like, I should be able to do the same thing that they're doing, or I should have the same number of followers as them, or I should have
Got
the
it.
same opportunities that they have." When in
Can you give me
reality,
an example of, like, what does it look like? What opportunities or what are they doing?
I guess maybe so, like, there's a part of you that gets a little jealous of watching other crossdressers go out with other crossdressers, right? So then my
Um,
competitive side kinda took over to the point where I was like, "I'm gonna get so good at this that, like,
huh.
the females in my life will wanna go out with me."
Oh, interesting. And did that happen?
Yeah, so it's funny how life works, but I got after I got outed, that would've been 2016. Somebody added me to some kind of local makeup group. I didn't know about it. I didn't know who
Huh.
added me, it just kinda happened one day. All of a sudden, it was popping up on my Facebook feed, and I was like, "You know what? Screw it. I'm already out. I'm just gonna post in here. I'm gonna post where I'm from, whatever, see how it goes." Well, it kinda took off. It took a life of its own, and all these girls were living around me, and it's like, I would go to a certain town around me, and I'd be like, "Hey, I'm out here tonight, full drag. Does anybody wanna come get a beer with me?" And that's just kinda how it slowly evolved into what it is now.
What is it now?
Well, at this point, I'm married now, of course, so it's not as crazy as it once was, but there were times where I'd go out in a town that either the town that I was living in or the town that I'd go visit, and there'd just be a flock of these girls that were a part of this makeup group, and they'd wanna come take put selfies with you or get a beer with you or become friends with you, and then that would evolve into they'd come to your town. It's like, "Let's go out. Let's go out to dinner. Let's go party," something like that.
Wow, that is so beautiful. It's so interesting of like this competitive thing has led you to actually really beautiful those sound like really beautiful and nourishing experiences.
Yeah, like, the main driving point to get, like, makeup-wise and being able to present to feel comfortable going out came from people doubting me,
Huh.
especially once I got outed. At the time, I wasn't very good. I will
Yeah.
say that, right? Like, we all learn what works for us, what we want, but at first, it's like, you don't know what kinda clothes to wear, you don't know what you're doing. And
Sure.
you're just happy, but as soon as I got outed, it was like you got people being like, "You're not very good at this," or, "You don't," like, "Why would you do this to yourself?" And
Huh.
I mixed it between the competitive point of wanting to get good with it
Wow.
with other cross-dressers and then proving these people wrong and being like,
Yeah.
"I'm just gonna get so good at this, you can't tell."
Yeah, because I mean, you look like a piece of art right now,
Thank
right?
you.
Well, it's also interesting because, I speak with a lot of cross dressers. For example, the last my last podcast episode was with a police officer, right? Who has a don't ask, don't tell situation with his wife. And, so when you and he looks like a 50 something year old police officer with a big old,
Mhm,
and but like when you don't have opportunities to like learn and explore the social aspect of this,
mhm,
it's like uh, yeah, of course, like it just kind of lives almost like in a vacuum, and in that vacuum I almost feel that's where like the shame and like there's like a lot that can spiral
yep,
when, but yet I agree there's something really like you could just be happy there too.
yeah,
But most people, what I've found, are dying to explore this on other realms so that they can explore the artistry of it and all of the other aspects of it.
mhm. Yeah, I've seen it a lot, especially because it to a degree, it becomes almost like your own little echo chamber when you only talk to other people online all the time, and it's like, "How do I look?" And it's like, they're always gonna be nice to you because they probably feel the same way. It's like, "I just want somebody to be nice to me." And it's like,
Yeah.
I have people being mean to me, and although, yeah, I coulda shut it up and been like,
Wait,
"I'm
who was
done."
being mean to you?
People I used to race against and stuff like that. So,
Oh, so yeah, so like men in your community
yeah.
because you were public about it.
Yeah. Yeah, once everybody found out about it, I got sent photos of myself, because everybody went deep diving. They had to go find out what's going on. I had
Mm.
already started
'Cause you live in a small
yeah,
town.
I started a internet persona, so I've been on the internet for a long time, and for a long time, I was able to kinda cover my own tracks so nobody would ever find out. Well, when everybody
Mm.
found out, of course, everybody went deep diving, and
Whoa, that sounds so intense.
yeah,
Was how what that I mean, that was 10 years ago, so I
yeah.
know it's a different thing now, but that must have been traumatic.
Oh,
Was
yeah,
that
at first, absolutely. It's not something I would suggest happen to anybody. I hope if you come out, it's because you came out on your own accord. I
Yeah.
I didn't have that luxury, but at the same time, like, at the time, it was the worst thing that ever happened to me, um,
Oh
but
god.
now it's the best thing that ever did happen to me. Because, I mean,
Ugh,
I have the life that I have because of it. If I wasn't outed when I was outed, I don't know that I would have ever had the courage myself to come out.
that's ugh. Let me just slow clap for you. Standing ovation. That's what I tell so many people of just like the fear of coming out, the anticipation of it is so much worse. I do not care.
Yeah,
Like I do not care. And if you're in a relationship that doesn't accept it, I'm telling you, like either work on it or find a partner who does because your life is just gonna be so much better.
right. It's so crazy because me and my wife talk about it, and the only reason I know my wife is because of this.
Shut up.
No, so I had moved to Vegas for about a year and a half, and I moved to Vegas partially because the community I've pretty much lived in North Dakota my entire life, but for a
Okay.
year and a half, I had moved to Vegas. Uh,
Yeah.
when I left originally, I was like, "I'm never coming back. I'm probably gonna be the cool uncle." I have, 3 nieces at the time. I'm like, "I'll just live in Vegas. Everybody will come visit me, whatever."
And this was
Um,
after you were outed or
yeah,
before?
well, long after I was outed, right? So this was
Okay.
probably 7, 8 years into it already.
Okay.
Um, I got down there. Of course, I was on TikTok. I had all this social media and stuff, and at the time,
Yeah.
you know
As Georgia?
yeah, as Georgia. It's really the only things I ever really do social media-wise, really, is
Yeah.
this part. Like,
Yeah.
my normal self, it's funny 'cause all I ever wanted to be was a race car driver. I'm more known for dressing up like a lady than I ever was for that.
Yeah. I
But,
love it.
yeah, so, like, the TikTok thing, I do, like, little transformation videos and stuff like that, and it happened to stumble into my wife's feed long before she ever knew me. She lived in Phoenix, I lived in Vegas, and
Up.
she was just scrolling, liked the video, kept scrolling. Well, I saw her little bubble. If I would've waited about 15 minutes longer, we wouldn't know each other. I saw her little bubble, went to her page, followed it, went to her Instagram, followed it, sent her a message. I was like, "You're beautiful. Um, let me know if you wanna talk sometime," essentially, and
You just randomly, like, cold hit on this lady
yes.
from the internet
Yep,
because you thought she was cute?
I did, and, she messaged me back like
You clearly like, there's a certain kind of person of, like, but there's this, like, it's almost like I can feel it, the quality of, like, an adrenaline junkie of just like, "I don't know, let's just jump off the cliff.
Yeah,
I don't know, just jump off the cliff. Why not?"
I look at it as like, I to me, everyone already knows, so it's like, I don't care that another couple people that I don't know, and it's like,
Yeah, but you like, there's 0 fear of being rejected, you
no.
just hit on a lady from the internet.
Yeah, so I just sent her a message, I was like, "Hey, like, you're beautiful, I added you on everything, I hope it's not weird," essentially, and she's like, "Okay, thanks," and in knowing how people have responded to me before, I thought she was never gonna talk to me again, and in
Yeah.
talking to her about said situation, she has said, "I thought you were just a gay guy that wanted to add me on everything."
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Okay, then what happened?
And then, we'd messaged each other back and forth for about a month, and then, I got tired one night, and I didn't wanna text anymore, so I just sent a voice message, and so she got my raspy, tired voice, and she's like, "Oh, wait, that's not how I thought you were gonna sound," and she fell in love with my
You were
voice.
text messaging you were
Yeah,
text messaging some rando from the internet. You, like, moved and she was like, "Yeah, I'll go ahead and text message with you."
yeah, like, it just slowly kinda developed throughout about a month, and then, yeah, I sent a voice
Fascinating.
message, and she fell in love with my voice, and the next night, she was at my doorstep.
She flew in?
She drove 4.5 hours from Phoenix to Vegas.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Your wife seems like a very cool lady. So
Oh, yeah.
she is down to clown with this.
Yeah, when I met her, she already had a daughter. She didn't ever
Uh,
want any more kids. She never believed in monogamy. She's like, "I'm done with men at this point." And I was like, "Okay." Like, there's no pressure here. And then about a month in, she's like, "You know what? I'll give this monogamy thing a chance." And then, we're 2 kids deep now.
Shut up.
So,
Wow. So now I have more questions because, well, so first of all, does how does your wife interact with Georgia?
she as right now, of course, because she's pregnant, so it's harder to find time right now because
Yeah.
we already have a one-year-old running around.
Yeah.
So and then also a nine-year-old. So finding
Yeah.
time for either one of us is pretty hard right now, which I'm okay
Sure.
with. I've always wanted to be a dad, but it was more so along the lines of, like, I also know that it's a responsibility. Um, but
I don't know, I just got, like, waves, like, chills of, like, you looking so beautiful as Georgia and be like, "I always wanted to be a dad," like and doing that publicly, there's something so, I don't know, just wonderfully refreshing about that.
yeah, so you know, we'll go out and have girls' nights, the first probably few times that we actually got to hang out because 'cause we'd hang out on, like, weekends when we were living in Vegas and Phoenix. We go out and have girls' nights there, and then
Mhm.
we've had girls' nights here, things like that.
And when they're girls' night, is there sexual chemistry between you, or
Oh,
is it like best
absolutely.
friends?
So
Okay.
she was actually dating girls before she met me, started talking to me.
Right, so, like, she's got the best of both worlds
Yeah.
now.
Absolutely.
Love it, love it.
So,
That's so cool.
yeah, and it was
That
all happenstance, by honest like, it was luck, happenstance, but it also was because of this. It wasn't it had nothing to do with my guy side, and
Yeah.
that's part of what, I wanna get across to other cross-dressers that are scared,
Mm,
because it's like, I'm very lucky, I know that, but I'm only lucky because I put myself out there, and I wasn't
yeah,
scared to be me and not, like, I'm gonna be rejected either later on down the road if they don't know about this, or, would you rather have it right away when it's like, it doesn't hurt? It
yeah.
might hurt in the moment, but the more times it happens, it's like, okay, you be kinda come numb to it to a degree, but you also understand it's like, I want this for me, so you gotta want this for me as well.
I love that. That's also like my partner and I, the foundational value of our whole entire relationship is that we are each other's biggest cheerleader for each other's highest purpose and self.
Right, like, before I
Like
came over here, she's like, "Our Wi-Fi ain't fast enough, is it?" And I was like, "No," 'cause we've been having trouble. We're actually switching over. Monday, we get our Starlink stuff, so we're out in the middle of nowhere, North Dakota, in all honesty, so
totally. But she's there like supporting you like,
yeah,
"Man, we gotta," like, that's so beautiful. See, this is what the picture I try to paint for a lot of people. I mean, because how old are you? Like 34?
35.
35? Right. I mean, I'm 37, so, like, you and I grew up with the internet,
Mhm,
right? So we had access to at a young age to things beyond ourselves, and like, so for example, one of my recent clients, like, is in his 70s, right? And his wife knows about it kind of, but not really, and doesn't wanna know about it, and there's just, like, such terror.
yeah,
Like, there's such terror of after spending a whole lifetime hiding. Like, how does one move the Titanic? And I wanna give so many, like, blessings and so much empathy to those people because I see you and it's like, right, when you were like, "This is just who I am, and I'm not willing to compromise who I am from the beginning,"
mhm. Well,
like, it doesn't sound like it's a super easy road
no,
either way, but it's still you get to be you.
right, and, like, I struggled with it probably right before I was outed and then right after, I struggled with this entirely because, the dating scene for the most part for me beforehand was like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you after, and we're gonna hope it goes well."
Yeah,
And
after what?
after getting into a relationship, it's like once you're in it, you're like,
Right,
"Okay,
one
here's me." And there were times where it worked out, and there were times clearly it didn't in the end.
yeah,
And then afterwards being like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna keep that within me or I'm gonna try to stop." And I tried to stop after I was first outed. I got scared, um,
yeah.
especially 'cause I'm from a town of maybe a couple hundred people, if I'm lucky.
Whoa!
And
Like, whoa!
most of them somehow are all related in a way or not, right? Like, I'm from a native community, so we're all kinda intertwined some way or another, right? So, everybody knows everybody's business. And,
Yeah,
of course, it just makes it harder that way. So I tried to get away from it at first. And then when it came down to dating, I was like, okay, I'm just going to stay away from it. And then when I realized I wasn't happy doing that, I was like, okay, well then maybe I'll tell them right after we start talking. I want her to know me, right? I want her to be okay with Jordan the person. And then I'll tell her.
Yeah.
Well, then that didn't
Yeah.
work. And it's like, screw it. I'm done. Here's me. Accept me for me.
Yeah.
I don't care anymore.
Wow. And now you have, like, this gorgeous life.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's that's so beautiful. And now I do feel like I mean, because you are so good at the makeup clearly and so good at the whole thing, does that create a type of almost like an armor in terms of, like, moving through the world in your feminine?
I think more so I never looked at it as, I guess, armor. It was more so along the lines, I always wanted to project what I personally liked, right? I always
Uh-huh.
fell in love with, like, the pinup era of, like, women and
Uh-huh.
things like that. Very
Oh,
strong,
that's right.
like,
I was looking at your Instagram. Okay, what's your Instagram handle?
Miss Georgia Ritchie.
Okay, go to Miss Georgia Ritchie and look at these photos because they are stunning. I literally even, like, went to go find your lingerie that you're wearing because I was like, "This lingerie is fire." It's, like, all pin-up gorgeousness.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
So that's what I fell in love with, and when it came to wanting to get very good at it, to be able to go out and, like, feel comfortable with it, it was more so along the lines I was like, I wanted like, there's a part of it is, like, I wanna be hot, I wanna be hit on, I wanna be one getting drink spot for them, and when that
Yeah.
starts to happen, of course, that just kinda ramps everything up. It's like, "Alright, cool, this is
Did it
awesome."
start to happen?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Do men buy you drinks when you
Yeah.
go out?
I just can't say anything because I don't have another voice. I've practiced at times, but I find myself feeling kinda silly doing it. So I'm like, "You know what? Screw
Yeah.
it. I'm just gonna keep my own voice. I don't care." So, like,
Yeah.
somebody would come up and they'd be like, "Can I buy you a drink?" And I'd just shake my head like, "Yeah." Right? But I'd be with, like, all of my girlfriends, and I'd be like, because it's loud, if you use a valley girl voice in a loud bar, nobody's gonna know anything. So it's like,
Yeah.
they'd ask what you want to drink, and I'd be like, "Tequila, but can I get, like, 6 of them? Because you're gonna have to buy for all of us. You can't just buy it for me. That's not how this works."
Right, because 'cause you'd also be in a gaggle of
Yeah.
girls. That is stunning. I love that so much. I love it so much. It's funny because if I had like, I feel like knowing that you're a crossdresser, I probably because I knew you were a crossdresser, this the reason why I would wanna buy you a drink. Funny, whereas these people are just thinking you're
Yeah.
passing.
Yeah, and, my thing is, like, you go out and anything that I've tried to give anybody advice about going out is, like, if you're worried about how you're presenting, just try to blend in when it comes to outfits. Like, what are your friends wearing? Wear
Oh,
something
interesting.
wear something similar. You don't have to wear exact, but try to just blend in. If you're trying not to draw too much attention to yourself. Now I've gone out and drawn a lot of attention to myself because you got a friend who's like, "I wanna wear this dress, but I'm scared." And it's like, "Well, I'll wear a crazy one with you." So then you don't
Yeah.
feel like you are self-conscious at any point. It's like, because then you can point to me and be like, "Well, that's a man in a dress," if you really wanted to.
I love that. Because it's all a construct. It's all made up.
Yeah,
Like, who made up these rules? They're not like,
yeah.
"Come on, people. Let's
You
play."
don't have to have a
My
special occasion to dress up.
I you don't have to tell me that. I am all over that. So here's my question, have you ever gone out with other cross dressers?
Uh, Twice. Mainly because there's not a
What was
lot in my area, right?
Totally.
Uh,
So how did that go? Where did you find them? What was that experience like?
the first one who, is actually trans now, and she has a major social media presence at this point. She had messaged me on Instagram and was like, "Hey, I'd really like to join you, going out one night, but I need help with, like, makeup and things." And I was like, "Well, I can do that. No biggie." Whatever. I
Wow.
was already doing makeup on other females at this point. Like, I'd learned not only to do it on myself, but then I learned to do it on other people. Because of course, when somebody sees you do it on yourself, they're like, "Oh, you should be able to do it on me, right?" Not
Yeah.
necessarily the case. It takes a
Yeah.
while to kinda get used to that. But
Huh.
at this point, I felt comfortable enough to help. And
But I love it also because it's literally just a skill.
yeah,
Like, it's just like, if you like cars, you didn't like doing cars is a skill.
Yeah,
It's just a skill.
absolutely. So
You can pick up it's riding a bike, it's just a skill.
yeah, and so she came down and she went out with me and my girlfriends and whatnot. And at some point we kind of stopped talking and stuff like that. But at the time, she had a great time. The second time was actually this is where I met Penny.
Oh, you know Penny
I know Penny.
Rose?
So
No way, I didn't realize
it was
that.
very brief though, because it was a giant group. I got invited out when I was
She
living in
told me
Vegas.
about this on the podcast,
Yeah,
how funny.
I
Cool.
got invited out because I was living in Vegas
Yeah.
by Sammy Flair. So she had essentially hit me up as like, "Hey, we're all out down on the strip. Do you want to come out? Like, you're more than welcome or whatever." And I was like, "Okay, we can see how this goes, right?" Like, I've been out with enough people where this should be fine. There's a little
Yeah.
bit of worry because I've only ever gotten along with other females. It feels like
Right, yeah. Yeah,
so.
that's my point is it feels like a very different
It
experience.
is. It very much is because you're hoping that it like in my experience to go out with other guys is it's a whole different experience than going out
Right.
with females. And so going out with a bunch of cross-dressers, there was a part of my brain that didn't know how to connect. It's like, "I do this. Oh, I'm fine, but are they cool?" Right?
Right.
But it turned out great. Like, we all went out. We originally, they didn't really know what they wanted to do, so I was like, "Well, I know of some pretty fun spots." So
Yeah.
I took them to a dive bar, and then we went to a karaoke bar and went our separate ways, but outside of that, it's like there are a lot of closeted cross-dressers out here, which is funny because very liberal
Of
area.
course. Yeah, it's so liberal,
So
just gay
liberal
pride all day, every
every
day.
day, right? So there but I get a lot of random messages, and it's always like, "I wish I."
From locals.
Yeah, so "I wish I could do this, but there's no way
Oh,
I can do that." And it's like, I don't know how to help you then. I wish I could help everybody, but you can't.
okay, so, I wanna float this by you because I actually want to see what you think. So, I am launching a cohort for it's like a 4-month cohort, and it's, like, virtual, so it's, like, 2 virtual sessions a month, and it's for cross-dressers to do this very thing. I wanna get your, like, thoughts on this. It's to do this very thing where it and then there's an in-person retreat in San Francisco where it's, like, at night, like, we do, like, de-shaming work and all this different stuff, and then there's catwalks, and there's, like, makeup help and all this different thing, and then we go out together in San Francisco. My question is, like, part of me is like, do you feel like other crossdressers want to go out with other crossdressers, or do you feel like really they just wanna go out with other women?
I guess I guess maybe it would depend. If you feel I think it's easier to go out with other actual women personally,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
partially because they want you to feel comfortable. Like,
yeah, all the ladies just, like,
yeah,
wanna chill.
yeah. So I think personally it's easier, and I think most probably crossdresser would rather go out with females because they're more nurturing. Whereas like
Mhm.
other crossdressers, I mean, we're still guys. We're you don't really know how to talk to each other. And
Yeah,
if you've never been out, you don't know what to talk about. You don't know what to say. And I've been like even in the time that I went out in Vegas, it's like you had to kind of loosen them up and be like, "Hey,
yeah,
don't worry about it. Like
yeah.
be yourself."
Well, that I think that's the point. So exactly what you said though of like local people are like, "Help me."
Yeah.
Like, how do I like, "Can you help me?" is like the idea of doing a cohort over the course of like 4 months where
Mhm.
we like gather and we get to know each other and we do work together and we're like it's like a deep sort of healing container to support each other's growth. My thought is like that is the opportunity where then when we come in person, we have these bonds already and we're in these like in more intimate groups.
Mhm.
But it's true because it's like I feel like a lot of it's interesting because my sense is that a lot of cross dressers in their masculine persona it's almost like they 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 really struggle with intimacy.
They do.
Whether that's intimacy with friends, male friends or female friends, or just intimacy in general. Because in some ways, intimacy, like to be a man in the masculine persona, like intimacy is not allowed unless it's with a romantic partner. But that means that, like, there's intimacy available everywhere. Like, that nourishment is available everywhere. So, I have almost this theory that it's, like, it's only in the feminine, and do folks allow themselves to, like, be in that very human need more often? Curious your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think that what it all boils down to is, like, as somebody that struggled to talk to people,
Mhm.
especially beforehand, before getting outed and things, and then even after, um, you don't
Yeah.
you don't necessarily know how to just open up everything. You don't know how to just be yourself with anybody. Um,
Yeah.
what I gear.
Probably not even with
Yeah,
yourself.
you kinda gear a
And
lot of like, I was before I got outed, the reason I got outed was because I was slowly starting to tell people that I was closest to, or that I felt
yeah.
closest to, and unfortunately for me at the time, I probably told somebody that I probably shouldn't have. I don't know
Mm.
who that person is. I wish I did so I could thank them at this point. At the time,
Of
I resented them with my entire being. But
course.
all the people that I had come out to were females. So, I felt closest in being able to talk to females, some of them of which were
Yeah.
my, like, cousins and stuff that I felt closest to, and then
Right.
other girls that I had either, maybe dated and still had, like, some kind of friendship with or something along those lines. Those are the people that I felt closest to. I didn't have any real guy friends to be like, "Hey, so by the way," you know, I have
Yeah.
some now, but for the most part, you don't talk about really anything intimate. You're kinda like, "Oh, how are the kids doing?" Or, "How's the house? How's
Right.
work?" Things like that.
Yeah.
So I've
Yeah, it's, like, project-based.
yeah, so I feel like it it is just a difficult thing for men to talk to other men, so I feel like it's a lot harder for other crossdressers to actually talk to other crossdressers, especially in person. So I feel like the best way to go about it would be to kinda have them have, like, some kind of way to connect beforehand, whether it be
Yeah.
messaging each other or, even if you could somehow get them to do, like, a FaceTime with each other just to kinda open up that bridge.
Well, so that's what we're gonna be doing is we have bi-monthly calls. So every 2 weeks, we have, like, a 1.5 hour, like, group call,
Mhm.
and then they also have, sister pods. So, like, the 3 of them are have a call every other on the opposite week. So it's just like, these are your accountability buddies. These are your buddies. And the idea is because so much about cross-dressing too, I feel like it is the bridge into, like, a deeper way of
It
being.
is.
A more, like, a more whether that's spiritual or intimate or connected or, like, whatever, because that is what the feminine brings to all of
Mhm.
us, right? No matter if you are a cis man who doesn't cross dress, like, we all need to express ourselves. We need, like, whether that is through dance or music or song or creativity or art or, like, we are humans, we are not
Yeah.
machines, and I feel like the masculine persona that unfortunately we have in mainstream society is such a hollowed out way of living.
It's meant like, what a lot of people think, I feel like, at this point in our time, the masculine is to shut in and, like, close those doors. Don't let anything in. Don't feel, just do your job and go home, take care of your family kinda deal. Whereas, like, I feel like because of the femininity at this point in my life, I've
Yeah.
become much more vulnerable. It took a long time to embrace it entirely because, like,
That's so beautiful.
with my wife, it's like I wasn't like, even after having been together and having a child together, there were times where I didn't feel entirely vulnerable yet because I was scared still.
Yeah,
There's still a part of you that's going to be scared to
yeah,
let in everything. 'Cause you don't know
yeah,
how. You've been taught a certain way to, like, no, just, like, if you fall down, you scrape your knee, don't cry about it, get up. It's like, well, what if
yeah.
I keep falling down and completely tear this knee open? Am I supposed to not cry about it still? because that's kinda how it
Yeah.
feels, and,
Yeah.
once you're able to let her into every corner, it's like, "Okay, I'm comfortable now. I don't
Yeah.
feel like I have to, like, atone for all of these things that are looked down upon and all whatnot." It's confusing now because it's like I look back and it's like you wish you would've known these things earlier or just
Yeah.
kinda went about your life with them earlier.
Yeah.
But I feel like it for somebody like myself and, like, it's not even my parents kinda thing. It was just the community that you're born into. It's just like it's baked
Right.
into your brain. It's like you're a man, you need to be a man, and that means don't show feelings, and it's like, I don't feel like that's what a man should be because it's like, I love taking care of my kids, I love crying at commercials, I clearly love doing this, so it's like, I want to be present for anything that comes our way, rather than, like,
Yeah.
no, and I feel like there are masculine parts that people use against each other where it's like, if it even seems a little bit feminine, you gotta say no to it. When in reality, it's like, let it in. Let it see how you feel about it, at least.
Mm. That is so again, slow clap, standing ovation. Well said. I mean, what I hear you say is like it's like cross-dressing has allowed you to be a whole integrated human.
Yeah, like, I feel like I'm able to connect with my wife on an entirely different level than probably any man, right? Any man around here or person that considers themselves a man, right? Like, I I've gone out with other females, and when you go out with other females, you kinda get an idea of, like, what they like, what they don't like, and then you slowly get into the
Yeah.
nitty-gritty of, like, their lives. They wanna tell you everything.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if you're, like, a regular guy and I feel like there are times too, in today's world where women have a hard time opening up because they're scared that they're going to be judged by a man, right? So, they're
Yeah.
not gonna tell them the nitty-gritty. They're not gonna be emotional with them all the time. And the ones that
Yeah.
they do are emotional with, they're hoping to be they're to be reciprocated in understanding. Whereas, like,
Yeah.
my wife being pregnant right now, she'll cry over not having pickles in the fridge. And it's
That
like,
does sound hard.
there are times where it's like, there's a part of you that's like, "This is ridiculous." But then there's the other
Yeah.
part that's like, "I get it.
I get
I
it.
get it." Like, you're just feeling it right now. And sometimes you
Yeah.
just need to let that out and just whatever it is. So it's like, you just go over, give her a hug, and it's like, "Do you want me to go get you pickles? Like, I'll go
Yeah.
find you some pickles."
Let me step up and be your pickle provider, baby. That's so beautiful. I mean, because so I do study a lot of tantra too, and I talk about this a lot in the podcast of, like, the divine masculine and the divine feminine that we have in all of
Mhm,
us, right? The masculine is our consciousness, it's our master of time and space, it is our logic. The feminine is our felt sensation, it is our emotional body, it is our expression, the way we dance and sing and all of that, and we all have both all no matter what body you're born into, we
mhm,
all have both of these, and one of the thing that's most beautiful, like, understanding, like, man, Mars, women, Venus, like, I remember for so much of my life, like, how do these 2 entities? Because it just feels like a strategic war all the
yeah,
time. Like, "Don't tell him this, well, don't tell her that, he's gonna think this of you," you know what I mean? It's just, like, so mind-boggling caustic.
mhm,
But then when you start to realize, the feminine within all of us just need it just, like it's just who's in what polarity, like, what pole at any time.
right,
Right? So it's just like, okay, are you gonna both be in the feminine? In which case do it, like, be best friend girlfriends. Are you both gonna be in the masculine, which is just, like, great, be colleagues, be parents? Because oftentimes, a child is such a strong force of a feminine, right? It
mhm,
shoots both parents into the masculine. So it's like, great, be work buddies, like, let's get shit done. And then the hot sex comes when one right? Like, when it doesn't even matter what gender or what you're presenting is just like, okay, the leader, the follower, the masculine and feminine, but not in the gendered way, but just in the holder and the beer.
mhm,
You know what I mean?
yep,
So I'm curious how this lands to you. Is that kind of what you've noticed? How does that work in your relationship?
Oh, we switch back and forth because it's just and 1, it makes it more fun for both of us, but 2, it's like we both have aspects of us that we like to, explore on. It's like I like to
Yeah.
explore this side, she likes to explore her dominant side, and then,
Yes.
there are other times where it's like she just wants to be the woman, and it's like I have to make sure that it's like I'm not in this mindset and that I
Yeah.
can go to my masculine mindset where I will be
I
dominant.
see, this is what I say. I mean, I'm the biggest advocate for everyone just to learn how to switch because again, it's a skill to
Mhm.
learn how to switch, and I really believe that like there is pleasure whether you know it or not. Everyone can switch because that's what my partner and I do too. And we're just constantly asking each other, what is this moment for?
Right.
Is this moment for you to be in the feminine or me to be in the feminine? Are you being the you know what I mean? But just get clear on that,
Yep.
and then once you understand it, you can kind of switch easily, and then everyone gets to be their full
Yeah, and
selves.
we'll switch within, within the same time period too, where it's like, "Okay, like,
Right,
you
totally.
satisfied this aspect of me. Now, what are you feeling right now?" And there are times where it's like,
Yes,
"I don't wanna leave this mindset," and there are other times where it's like, "No, I can't feel what I wanna feel in this moment, so I'm gonna switch into this." And
yes.
I also know, through experience of being on the internet as long as I have and in talking to so many people, the cross-dressing thing to a degree is a very selfish aspect of things because like,
Oh, say more. Ooh,
you're only
interesting.
thinking about you in these moments. You're not thinking about
Yeah,
anything else, right? Like, you're trying to feel everything that you're feeling while doing this, right? And that's why you continue doing it, because you feel great. But
yeah.
to a degree, it's only for you. Now
Right, it's your own expression, yeah.
right, and you bring this into a relationship. The reason I feel like a lot of people struggle in relationships, especially ones that are accepting, is they take
Yeah.
advantage when they are in their feminine, they wanna dress up, they wanna be pretty, and they every time then want to do that. They don't
'Cause it's like an addiction. It's like, why would I this feels such a high, why would
like, "Why
I?
don't you understand that I wanna do this?" Like, "Well, 'cause I wanna be the feminine one today." And that's
Right.
something that I feel like people have to come to terms with. It's like, when you do this, especially in a relationship, it is to a degree selfish because it is for
Mm,
you. Now, if you have a very understanding partner, it's like, "Yeah, I understand this is what you want." But they also have wants, and you have to
yeah.
have an ebb and flow. You can't be like, "Well, no, every time we have sex, I have to be the girl." It's like, "Well, that's not what she signed up for."
Yeah. Right. I really appreciate you saying that because it's interesting because Penny Rose talked about that exact same thing. Her experience of the pink fog and of just, like, going off the deep end and almost, like, leaving her wife behind
Yeah, it
in
can
that
take
way.
over. It can take over if you allow it to, and I feel like see, I was able to avoid a lot of it based on having so many female, like, friends and things and having conversations and kinda understanding what they wanted. And, like, you'd hear how they talk about their husbands or their boyfriends or whatever, what they wanted in a partner. And I took a lot of those conversations and applied it to me, and I was like, "Okay, I need to be this. I need to be that," for them to understand it's like, I'm a human, and I'm not just doing this because I want it. It's like, it's because we want it, and I also understand your boundaries. I understand what you want out of all of this. I've been in relationships where, like, they don't care about this side at all. All they care about is my male side. And then I've also been in
Yeah.
relationships where they want this more, and they don't care about the male side. And it's like, me, I feel like I've always wanted somebody that's like, "Well, I want you to want both. I don't want you to
Yeah.
want just one because I wanna feel important as a whole. I don't
Yeah.
wanna be tugged one direction or another. I kinda wanna just exist." But they also do too. So you have to find somebody that's willing to meet your yin and yang.
To dance, to just be in the dance with you
Yeah,
and to, like, be attuned
and
at any point in
and the
time.
better you get at it, the more it becomes like, like an actual dance. It feels like you're actually dancing rather than kinda stepping on each other's toes.
Yeah, you're in flow.
Mhm,
You're in flow. The thing what I also really love about this is you're talking about not only are you discovered through your own process, like, the ecstasy of being of exploring your own feminine, right?
mhm,
But what I love about this is if that became an avenue for you to learn from the feminine and from people's whose what I say, like, people's whose homes are in the feminine, which is, like, the cis women around you,
mhm,
and started, like, learning, like, and use that to not only make you a better woman, but also to make you a better man.
right.
That is so stunning. I feel like I feel like a lot of it's funny, I feel like I wish, like, more women would listen to this like, cis women would listen to this podcast because I feel like a lot of cis women would be like, "Swoon." You know what I mean? 'Cause that is ultimately what cis women want. We wanna be studied, but from a place of curiosity and, like,
Right.
reverence. And that's what you did, and I love that then it was also for you to embody your feminine in a deeper way.
Yeah, like, again, it took a long time, and, like, what I try to anytime anybody asks questions about whether it's how did I land a wife who is willing to have kids with you and know that you're a crossdresser and all this other stuff, it's like, well, it took time. I had to find myself first. You can't
You have to find you have to find yourself
you
first.
gotta find what's important to you. Now, are we all gonna be in the same boat? Absolutely not, and you shouldn't expect that. You shouldn't look at me and be like, I want everything that he has, because you might not. You might look at, like, having kids as like, "Oh god, I can't imagine doing that." Or you might look at, like, having a wife and be like, "No, I just wanna be single," and I was just either way,
Yeah,
you still gotta find yourself and what it is that you want. And
yeah.
it takes a lot of practice, and it takes a lot of conversations with people. It takes a lot of, I would say it takes a community because I needed my friends. If it wasn't for my friends, I don't know where I would be, and you have to be willing to be vulnerable with them. And that
I loved it.
doesn't mean you have to be vulnerable with them all in the same, I guess, mind. I guess, like, you don't need to be vulnerable the same way you are with this person as that person.
Yeah.
You can have some people. I tell people, it's like I have my ride or die friends, and then I have my
Mhm.
friends I have deep conversations with. Like,
Yeah.
my ride or die friends,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell them when I'm having a hard time, because what they're gonna wanna do is they're gonna be like, "Well, who do I gotta murder today?"
Yeah.
Whereas my conversation friends are like, "Okay, let's talk about this. Like, why do you feel this way?"
Yeah.
You know? But then you do
Yeah.
need your ride or die friends, because it's like sometimes you just gotta let your anger out and just let it feel. And they're like, "Let's
Yeah.
go," kinda deal.
I love that. But this is also such a I'm gonna just do a fully shameless plug of this cohort. It's called Outrageously Her, but the idea is also because I meet so many cross-dressers who don't know how to be vulnerable.
No.
Like, who don't know how to have those conversations. And the idea of coming together as a community, as a small community to, like, actually learn these skills of what it means to open up and share with other people who are going on a similar journey with you,
Uh-huh.
whether they're in their 70s or whether they're in their 30s, because it's going to be a pretty diverse group. And, like, going on that journey together, I feel like it's just, like, such an important thing that you magically figured out how to do all on your own just by, like, just by jumping off all the cliffs. But a lot of people don't, like, because maybe they didn't grow up with the internet or maybe they didn't, whatever. A lot of people don't have that access that you magically found, even though you live in
I
an oil
I
field.
live I live in probably the spot where, like, everybody comes for oil jobs because 'cause they're high paying. So you can imagine the kind of people that come for those jobs, right? Like, they're not
Yeah,
necessarily the people that are looking at you being like, "Hey, you look great." They're more so along the lines of the opposite, right? So
I love
you
it.
have to be
But
willing
it's
to
also just yeah, it's also just like it's like I'm so happy that you're on this podcast because it's like, yes, your life might look different, but this is a possibility because a lot of people I just don't even think can even imagine
that's possible.
what an integrated life could look like at all.
Right. And I mean,
You
like,
know what I mean? It's like
10 years ago, if you would have told me that this is how it worked out for me, I would have probably told you you're lying, right? Like, before I was outed, if somebody was like, "Hey, if you just embrace everything, you're good. You'll be golden. You're gonna get everything that you dreamed of." And you're like, "No,
yeah,
that's not possible." Because at first it's like, no, my whole world fell apart. Like, everybody I thought were my friends were gone. My
yeah.
To a degree, like, every time you turn around, you're being criticized. But it's like, instead of hiding, I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna embrace it, and we're gonna see where it goes." And if it wasn't for doing that, I wouldn't have any of this. And it's like,
And you didn't yeah, go ahead.
it's
Keep
it's
going.
like when it comes to, like, the cliff, it's like, I might have had to jump off the cliff, but I feel like to a degree, I was kinda forced against it. It's like either someone's gonna
Yeah,
push me off or I'm gonna jump into it. And it's like, I coulda
yeah.
drowned, or you say, "Screw it, I'm gonna find my way back to shore eventually," and then you guys are all screwed.
And then but that also led you to do the inner work.
Yeah,
That's the thing that I love so much, and again, a shameless plug for this cohort, like, you cannot expect the world to respond to you the way you want them to unless you know how to respond to
right,
yourself.
and you're never gonna get everyone to jump on board. You're not. It's just not possible. You're not gonna get I wish I would have taken a lesson I learned when I was 14 and I bought the race car. Because when I bought the race car, I had friends, and then after I bought the race car, those some of those friends were making fun of me because they're like, "Oh, mommy and daddy bought it for you. Oh, like, you suck at
Mm,
this," and all this other stuff, and it's like, at the time, I didn't care because I loved doing it, and I wish I would
mm.
have taken that lesson at the time early
Mm.
on.
'Cause you just love
I
doing
just
it.
love doing it, and instead of backing down, I mean, it worked out in the end because I picked my own pieces up and was like, "Screw it, I'm gonna go for it. We're gonna see where it
Wow.
goes." And, I mean, it's led in all sorts of directions, right? Like, I was a model for a boudoir studio because at the time, I had a massive internet presence, so they're like, "Well, we'll take pictures of you, you'll get them for free as long as you post them on your
Wow.
Instagram." So it's like, I'm
Yeah,
living the life, like, I get to pose in
yeah.
lingerie. If someone else is taking my photo professionally, hell yeah, like, why not?
This is the best. Oh my gosh. That's so beautiful. Wow, wow, wow. Georgia, what a treat. What a treat. I'd honestly love to keep in touch. I would
Absolutely.
love to hear how your journey goes and especially as like things progress and because I'm trying to just I especially people who are really rooted in this world like I want them to be part of my community because I think you're just so special, so inspiring.
It's funny because I posted about this on my Instagram, and I've done it before in the past because 'cause I've had so many people reach out, and they're like, "You inspired me to do this. You inspired me to do that," or "You are inspiring me to do this." To a degree, it's the same way that I felt about race car driving. It's like, I'm not doing this to inspire you. I'm doing this because I
Mm,
love doing it. The fact that I am inspiring you is pretty cool, but, like, I'm not trying to go out of my way to do it. Now, if you take
mhm.
something from it, that's awesome. But I genuinely, it's like, when I started posting on the internet, I was just happy to do it. I didn't care if there was, like, 4 people paying attention. And to this
Yeah,
day, like, after I got back onto it, like, I left for a little while, I needed to find myself again. I needed to kinda figure out my life after having kids and stuff like that.
of course.
Now being back, it's like, I feel like I found that joy again of just posting and doing what I wanna do and not caring who sees or what happens. And, like, coming on here, it's like, I like having conversations. I like being able to tell my story because, like, yeah, it's crazy. It's one of the craziest stories that I can think of. Nobody could have told me when I was 14 that I started doing this is where I'd end up.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't trade it for the world personally.
Yeah, clearly. I wouldn't want you to either. Well, what a pleasure. So we're going to start wrapping up this episode with Georgia. And for anyone who is interested in exploring Outrageously Her, this cohort about finding yourself in a community of cross-dressers, you can check it out at www.soulkink.com/outrageously/her. I'll also put the link in the notes. And Georgia, do you have any other ways that you want people to find you or like, yeah, anything you want to share?
Yeah, mainly stick to Instagram now. I do have a photography page on Facebook that I do all sorts of different kind of photography at this point. It's
Oh,
Too
cool.
Dirty Photography, which is my race car number, and then, 'cause everyone thinks
Love
I'm just
it.
this or that. So, outside of
So
that,
you're a professional
now,
photographer.
yeah, it's kinda crazy.
That's amazing. Okay, so Too Dirty,
Too
is
Dirty
that right?
Photography.
Too Dirty Photography. Okay, great. That's on
That's
Facebook.
on Facebook, and that's
And then
that's about
Instagram.
Instagram, Miss Georgia Ritchie. It used to be Miss Georgia Brooks. When I got married, my wife took my last name, and so I took her last name as my female persona.
I love it. That's so wonderful. That's so amazing. All right. Well, thank you so much, Georgia. And thank you for everyone for listening in. I'll see you next week for another episode of Soul King Therapy.